So today's date is 3/8/21, and we are doing interest. Now, for interest, oh God, TMI kids. For interest, there's positive interest and then there's negative interest. In seventh grade, we will deal with simple interest. There's also compound interest, which you will do in high school. Simple interest, it's a positive and a negative. Um, how many of you out there in Zoom land know that you guys have already a savings account? Your parents or someone opened for you a savings account. Anybody out there? Well, if you do, you already have this bank account that has money for you in there, and it's earning interest. The bank gives you like a thank you. It gives you money each month for having that money there. You don't spend it. It's just there. Maybe it's for college or something in the future, right? But you don't touch it. And then maybe every year for your birthday or something, they put a little bit some money into the account. And by the time you're 18 and ready to like do what you got to do, either college or something else, you have this money and it's more than what your parents put in there because of interest. Now, how many of you ever seen your parents, grandparents? Yeah, it's like free money. Use a credit card at the store. How many of you guys seen your parents or someone use a credit card? Well, a credit card is like allows you to borrow money to pay for that. Like when you go to Target, you swipe it, you're done. They don't pay with cash, they pay with a credit card. It's like borrowing money. And if you don't pay it back at the end of the month, you're charged interest. And that's a negative because you have to pay extra money. We don't want to pay extra money. So there's some positives, like when you have money in a savings account. And then there's some negatives when you take out a loan, you have to pay back interest. All right. So let's say interest, here's the formula for interest. I equals P R T. Okay? That's the formula that you'll be using today. So it is it is 100% different than what we have done in the past. Usually it's just multiply the price times the percent and you're done. Well, this is similar, but a little bit longer. The I stands for interest. Okay? The I stands for interest. The P stands for principal, but in money. Okay? So principal, not the person. Principal as in how much money did you borrow? How much money is in your savings account? Principal, that's what we refer it to. R is the rate, and that's when we talk about the percent. So we don't call it percent, we call it rate. And the T stands for time in years. It has to be in the form of years. Okay? If they give it to you in the form of months or days, then it's a little bit different. But here's the formula. So you're going to multiply the principal times the rate times the time. That will give you how much interest you are paying. So PRT, interest is equal to PRT. The money times the percent times the years. Okay, so this is our formula that we're going to be using today for our interest problems. All right, so let's say I borrow $25,000 to buy, my super cool car. Okay, so I don't have money right now in my pocket to go buy my car. I don't have $25,000. So I go to the bank. Hey, bank, I want to borrow $25,000. And they're like, okay, really? Yes. Okay. Is it free? No. They're going to charge you interest rate. The interest rate is 3%, which is pretty good. How much interest will I pay after 5 years? How much will I pay in total? Okay. So I borrowed $25,000 to buy my super cool car. The interest rate is 3%. How much interest will I pay after 5 years? How much will I pay in total? Okay, because usually they'll ask you 2 questions, or they'll just ask you the first question and not the second question, or they'll ask you the second question and not the first question. So the number one thing is like, what are they asking me to do? Are they asking me just to find the interest, or are they asking me to find the total? Because those are 2 different questions. All right, so let's break this down. The $25,000 is your principal. The 3% is your rate, and the 5 years is your time. So here you have what you need to multiply. The principal times the rate times the time, PRT. I'm going to turn the page. Screenshot. So the principal is 25,000, the rate is 3%, and the time is 5 years. So the interest, remember, is PRT. So I have to multiply these 3 numbers. I have to multiply 25,000 times 0.03 times 5. Now, you can multiply these in any order that you want. Good thing is we have a calculator. So you pick up your calculator, plug these 3 numbers in there. Plug these 3 numbers in there and do it, because I'm going to write down the answer, but I need you to practice literally typing these into your calculator just to make sure that you're doing it correctly. Like, did you type in 0.03 or did you type in 3? Did you type in 0.3? Like, do it before I do it, just to make sure that simple act of plugging into your calculator, you guys can do correctly. Yes, it takes skills to do that. So you plug this into your calculator and you get interest equals. So this is how much interest total interest you will pay is $3,750. So you're going to pay the bank an additional $3,750 for them just allowing you to take out the $25,000. So you have to pay an additional $3,700. So what does the question say again? How much will I pay in total? So you will pay in total. Well, I took out 25,000 and I'm going to add so this is my principal plus my interest. So I'm going to add 3,750 to my principal. So kind of like our second step when we do discount and tax and and markup. Okay, it's our second step. So this is like our second step where we take our principal and we add our interest to it. And then what you will pay in total is $28,750. So when you borrow money from the bank, you always have to pay back a little more, just a little more. Well, sometimes it's little and sometimes it's a lot, depending on your interest rate. The higher the interest rate, the more you will pay. And that's all based on credit history. Okay, so people take out loans to buy a car, to buy a house. Usually people take out loans for that. When you have a credit card, the interest rate is a lot higher, like in the 20s. So you want to make sure that when you get a credit card, you don't end up paying high interest rates, okay? So you want to make sure that you pay your credit cards at the end of the month so you don't end up paying a ridiculous amount of money in interest. All right, let's do another one. I have $1,600 in my savings account that earns 4% interest, which is a lot. How much will I have after 18 years? So let's say your parents opened up a savings account when you were born, okay? When you were born, they opened up a savings account with about $1,600 in that savings account. And you don't touch it for 18 years. It's just there and you get it when you on your 18th birthday, okay? So you're just like, nice. How much free money am I going to earn? So $1,600 is your principal. 4% is your rate, and 18 years is your time, right? And interest is equal to PRT, principal times rate times time. So my interest is going to equal 1,600 times 0.04 times 18. At this time, you should understand where I get the 0.04. We've been doing this for about 2 weeks. I'm hoping you understand where we got that number. All right, no need to struggle. Have your calculator. So type this into your calculator. Make sure you get the same answer I do. So interest is equal to 1,152. That's how much interest, that's how much the bank is going to give me for having my money in the savings account for 18 years and not touching it. Now, does this answer the question though? The question is, how much will I have after 18 years? So is this how much I'm going to have after 18 years? No, this first step is actually just finding interest. So this is like your first step, finding interest. Your second step is to find like the total, right? To find the total, you have to add your principal plus your interest. Well, my principal to start with was 1,600. And I'm going to add my interest, which is 1,152. When I add these two numbers, I'm going to get my total. How much will I have after 18 years? My total amount. And that is 2,752. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but hey, you got $1,000 for free because you didn't touch that money. No one else is going to give you free money. No one else. So yes, savings accounts do give you free money. Usually the interest rate is a lot lower than 4%. Sometimes even less than 1%. But it's free money. I'll take it. Are there any questions so far? Okay. So basically, remember, you're going to just multiply principal times rate times time. That gives you your interest, and then you're going to add your principal plus your interest. All right, I'm going to have to show you. Usually in a regular class, if we were live and in person, we would take 2 days to do interest. I multiplied the principal times the rate times the time. So plug this number in, this number in, this number. So times these three numbers, that gives you this number, which then I bring down here because it's my interest. So usually I take 2 days to teach you interest. I would stop here on the first day. We would do some practice problems. And then on the second day, I would teach you the second step to, or the second stage to interest rate. Got no time for that in distance learning because I don't see you every day. So I'm going to show you day 2 today. It's rushed. Okay, so let's say my principal, I let my brother borrow money. I let him borrow $2,500. And I said, your interest rate, because you're my brother, is going to be 8%. Because, we're family. But time would be 6 months. He only has 6 months to pay me back. Now, you know that 8% is 0.08, right? Principal is okay. We change that. Now, the original formula said that the time was in years. This is in months. So can I type in on my calculator 6? Is it okay for me just to use 6 as my time? No, right, correct. Because it's not 6 years. I'm not letting him borrow money for 6 years. I'm letting him borrow for 6 months. So does anybody know what would I type in when I'm looking for interest is equal to PRT? So this is 2,500 times 0.08 times, what would be my time? What would be my time? 6 months. In years, what would that be? 6 months in years. Would be a decimal. You can also think about it as a fraction first. So 6 months is what decimal in a year? 6 months is what fraction of a year? Yes, 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 exactly. So 6 months is 6 out of 12 months, right? 6 out of 12 months is half a year. Half a year would be 0.5. So instead of multiplying by 6, because it's not 6 years, I would have to multiply by 0.5. So this is like the next level of interest. So if you were to get this on a test, the first question would be like the question over here. It would be in years. And then if you get that one right, they might throw in a month just to see if you really know how to do like the next level, because this takes a little bit more of an effort. So I'm going to plug this in. Did it wrong. 2,500 times 0.08 times 0.5. Why is it the same, right? 2,500 times 0.08 times 0.5. So interest is equal to 100. Total would equal 2,600, right? So my brother would pay me $100 in interest. He would pay me a total of $2,600 after 6 months. Does that make sense? Again, if we're live in class, I would be doing this on the second day. We'll be going more in depth. What if it says 3 months? What would be the decimal, the fraction of 3 months? What if I only let you borrow money for 3 months? How would you do the decimal and or fraction? Yes. So 3 months is 3 out of 12, which is equal to 1/4, which is equal to 0.25. Okay. What about 9 months? What would 9 months be? Yep. Be 9 out of 12, which is equal to 3/4, which is equal to 0.25. 4 will be. I don't think they'll ask you for 4 months. They'll ask you for months that are like, whoops. Yes. Nothing happened over here. Do you have a question? No? Okay. All is good over here. Miss Molly didn't make a mistake. Nope. If you get a month, you won't get one on the worksheet. I don't think so. If you get months, just they'll usually give you a month that works. Like 3 months, 9 months, 6 months. Usually have a nice clean decimal. They don't want to give you like 5 months because 5 out of 12. 5 out of 12 is a really funky number. So they won't give you a month. They'll usually give you 3, 9, 6. I doubt they'll give you even a 4 because it's a repeating decimal. Good. I'm glad you didn't see anything. All right. So this is level 2